Good day, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. We once again begin in Colombia, where the future of peace talks to end the country's 50-year civil war remain uncertain. In Colombia, the peace talks there, the peace process there between FARC guerrillas and the government remains halted. The FARC confirmed on Tuesday that it had kidnapped General Ruben Dario Alzate in the district of Choco. The general was captured while visiting the zone dressed as a civilian. Meanwhile, the government has launched a military operation in Choco. Local organizations have announced they will hold demonstrations against the militarization of their state. The FARC guerrilla says it is supporting the demonstrations' call for a restart to the peace process.
We want to send our warmest regards to the Colombians who are today demanding an end to this absurd suspension of the peace talks in Havana, and at the same time those who are calling for a ceasefire in order to improve the environment of the talks, and above all, to avoid more victims from the population at large and also from the combatants.
And for more now on the march in Colombia and the calls for peace talks to reinitiate, we go to our correspondent Charles Parkinson in Bogota.
I'm here in Bogota's Plaza San Martin, where people are gathering to take part in today's March for Peace, which will see members of the public, social groups, NGOs, politicians coming together to show their support for Colombia's peace process. In around an hour, they're going to set off from here and they're going to walk to Bogota's iconic Plaza Bolivar, right in the centre of the city. Now, today's important because it marks the second anniversary of the beginning of the talks in Havana between the government and Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. But it takes on double importance because right now the talks are at a standstill after President Juan Manuel Santos called a halt to the proceedings on Sunday following the capture by the FARC of an army general. Now, the people are here to say that we need the talks to continue and we need them to come to a resolution as soon as possible. Charles Parkinson in Bogota, Colombia.
Turn now to Mexico, where protests there continue following the disappearance of 43 Ayotzinapa students. Protesters took to Zocalo Square, where they staged a demonstration demanding justice for the missing students. Meanwhile, new corruption charges against President Enrique Peña Nieto and his wife Angelica Rivera sparked even more outrage on Wednesday. Rivera owns a $1 billion home, which she claims to have bought with her own savings, but many accuse her of improper use of her husband's position to acquire the home. We go now to Mexico City, where our correspondent Clayton Kahn has an update on President Peña Nieto's response to the list of accusations against him.
Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto said in an angered speech yesterday that the consistently growing movement in solidarity with the 43 disappeared Ayotzinapa students, as well as the thousands who are calling for his ouster, is a type of plot to destabilize the country. Now, this comes after the president's return from an 8-day trip to China and Australia, in which he was heavily criticized for leaving amid one of the country's worst human rights crises in at least the past decade. Now, the leader has also come under heavy fire for his multi-million-dollar mansion that is registered under a contractor that has won government projects, alluding to corruption. He called these revelations as part of a plot to destabilize his government and, quote, his national project. Now, although the president has delegitimized certain sectors of the growing social movement for Ayotzinapa, a three-pronged mega march is to take place in the capital tomorrow, the same day as the start of Mexico's historic revolution of 1910. This is Clayton Kahn reporting for Telesur here in Mexico City.
Thanks to Clayton. And solidarity with the families and friends of the missing students continues not just in Mexico, but really all around Latin America and the world. In Costa Rica, activists staged a protest during a government summit on Tuesday in the capital of San Jose. Social movements and organizations also marched on Tuesday demanding President Luis Guillermo Solís take a stand on the issue of the missing students.
Los venezolanos han sido víctimas del sabotaje económico promovido por la derecha en el país desde mediados de 2013, mediante la especulación.
Moving on to other Latin American news, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro approved 28 new laws on Tuesday. The laws will give the head of state special powers to resolve important economic issues affecting the country. Now, the move is intended to accelerate the fight against economic sabotage that the government says is coming from right-wing business sectors. And we move now to Honduras, where the military police have increased the importance of their role in society. With the implications of this shift, here's our correspondent, Gerardo Torres.
The party said in an official communication that they will attempt to stop the approval of the elevation to the military police to a constitutional rank. The proposed bill would give them additional powers and make them a permanent force. The Libre Party's general coordinator, former President Manuel Zelaya, told Telesur some of the reasons why stopping the military police is so important to his party.
La policía militar ya existe. ¿Por qué le quieren dar rango constitucional si nos dijeron?
Even though they told us it was only a temporary measure to help the police. Making this force a permanent one sends a different message. They want to destroy the National Preventative Police, they are making it a parallel force, they are reducing its functions, and this is rolling back the demilitarization policies that we had put in place in Honduras.
Retroceso en las políticas de desmilitarización que Honduras había avanzado significativamente.
The National Congress will have its session this week in the city of Choluteca in the south of Honduras, and the ruling National Party has assured that the elevation of the military police will be approved. But according to local journalists, on this occasion, they will not have enough votes.
No creo que tenga la capacidad el régimen actual que gobierna.
I don't think that the government will be able to get the 86 votes they need, but surely they will try to get the votes they need. They may try to look for support from the Liberal Party or talk with the Anti-Corruption Party, even though its leader has said that he is completely against this. And the Libre Party has had a clear position against this.
Y Libertad y Refundación que está siempre con una posición política no a favor.
The raising of the constitutional rank of the military police and its new powers will increase the militarization of the country, a move which could see a backlash this week in Choluteca, Honduras. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
Thanks to Gerardo. To world news now. We go to the United States, where tension continues in the town of Ferguson, Missouri, ahead of a grand jury decision. Governor Jay Nixon declared a state of emergency on Tuesday, opening the way for a crackdown on any protests by the National Guard. The decision comes as the town is awaiting the jury's decision on the Michael Brown case. Leaks in recent weeks suggest that Darren Wilson, the officer who shot Michael Brown, will not be indicted. Our correspondent Alexandra Hall is on the ground in Ferguson and has the latest on the pending grand jury decision.
Business owners have boarded up their shops and gun sales have skyrocketed here in Ferguson as residents wait for news from a grand jury that's in the process right now of deciding whether or not to bring criminal charges against Darren Wilson, the white police officer who shot and killed a black unarmed teenager, Michael Brown, here just 3 months ago. Now, as the investigation wraps up, if jurors decide that Wilson acted, if his actions were premeditated, he could face first or second-degree murder or voluntary or involuntary manslaughter. Now, on the contrary, if they decide that Wilson acted in self-defense or if he feared for his life, he could avoid indictment altogether, and in that case would immediately return to active police duty. In either case, any actions that are taken will be made before the public is notified. That means that it could be happening right now or have already happened, but there has been a lot of speculation that any decision will be announced by the end of this week or this weekend, but because the deliberations are happening under 100% secrecy, nobody really knows, and a decision could be announced at any moment. In Ferguson, I'm Alexandra Hall for Telesur.
Thanks to Alexandra. We go to Palestine now, where the Israeli government destroyed the home of one Palestinian accused of being behind an attack on Israeli citizens in October. The man was shot and killed shortly after the attack began. In what many consider collective punishment, the government of Benjamin Netanyahu has threatened to continue demolishing the homes of whoever is linked to terrorist attacks against Israel. Plenty more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle. We'll see you right back here in just a few hours.